Conditional formatting is a great way to be able to draw attention to certain data inside of a larger data set. And it's really simple to use. All you need to know is how to set it up. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use conditional formatting, going all the way from the very basics to some more advanced features. If you don't already subscribe, don't forget to hit that button and let's dive in. All right, so all the conditional formatting is gone. And realistically, for conditional formatting, all it's doing is it's looking up each individual cell and it's looking up a list of rules that we are going to lay out for it. And then it will say whether it meets those rules or it doesn't. And it returns a true or false on the back end. If it's true, it will format based off the parameters that we set. If it's false, nothing will happen. And we can have multiple rules at one time, and it will go from the top of the list to the bottom of the list, and it will return whichever one it hits first. So let's say we want to have conditional formatting where the region is exactly north. We can select all of column B, go to Format, Conditional Formatting, and then right over here it says Format Cells If. So this is where we'll put our rules. So you can have it's empty, so if the cell is empty, you'll format it. If it's not empty, you'll format it. Text contains, text does not contain. So if it does contain the string you'll put, or it does not contain the string you'll put. If it starts with something, if it ends with something, or if it's exactly what we type. In this case, we want it to be exactly north, so I'm going to select text is exactly. Inside the value or the formula, I'm going to put north, and now it will format everything that is exactly north. You can create different formatting styles, just like you normally would on your spreadsheet. So we'll say fill color, for example, is this color. We'll make the font white, and we could bold it, italicize it, underline it, strike through, whatever. In this case, we're just going to leave it as regular. And once I hit done, you'll see right here it says text is exactly north, and it's all highlighted with what we have. Now let's say we want to do another one for east. We don't have to go from scratch since this one's already done. We can simply click into it and click add another rule, and that will duplicate the rule. And then we can change it from north to east. By default, it will have the same settings. So let's go ahead and change this one to a magenta color or whatever this is. So just like that, it's coming together pretty nicely, and you can kind of go from there. Now, what if you wanted to include something? So for example, instead of north, we wanted to include anytime north exists. So it could be north, northeast, northwest, whatever. As long as it has the word north in there, we want it to be highlighted. Instead of text is exactly, we can select text contains. So now when I hit text contains, nothing happens, and that's because everything's the same. But let's say that we change this to west. It will still be highlighted. Or if we change this to east, it will still be highlighted. If we were to not have text contains and just have text as exactly, both of those will no longer be highlighted because they're not exact matches. So if you're trying to do something where it contains it, this is a much better option. Now let's say we want to do something with numbers. You can do a couple of things. So one, you can highlight the whole row, go to add another rule, and you could do greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, is not equal to, is between, or is not between. So let's say we want to highlight any of these total sales when it's greater than 20,000. So we can say greater than or equal to, type in 20,000, and then it will highlight everything that's higher than 20,000. So let's go ahead and put this into a green color. Let's make it white and hit done. So just with that one edit, you can quickly see all the different high performers. Now what if we want to see the low performers? We can click back into that rule, click add another rule to duplicate it, change greater than or equal to less than, and let's say less than 12,500. And let's go ahead and change this coloration to red. So now you can see exactly which ones fall under that 12,500 threshold. So pretty simple. Now what if you want this to be something that you can dynamically update? So right now we have it set to 20,000, but what if you want to be able just to update it to 25,000 or anything like that without having to go into conditional formatting every time? We could type threshold inside of a cell, and let's say we want 15,000 to be the threshold. And we can format this if we want to. It doesn't really matter. A number is a number on the back end. And now, instead of pointing to a specific number, we can type equals, and then the name of the cell that this is in. So this is in cell G2. So we're going to type equals G2. Now, as you can see, everything is highlighted. And the reason why it's highlighted is because we have this formula as a relative reference. And this is a problem because the way that the conditional formatting checks for true or false, whether it matches or not, is it goes through every single cell. And it's designed to be a relative reference. That way it can check here, then it can check here, and so forth. So since we're starting with cell E1, it's taking a look at E1, which is text in this case, and it's comparing it to G2. Then it would take E2, comparing it to G3, and it would keep going down. Since all these numbers are greater than or equal to a blank cell, which it thinks of as 0. That's why it's showing up all the way down. So if I were to change this to E2, for example, to start where the numbers start, now it's comparing E2 to this threshold. So if I were to change this to 14,000, you can see that this is less than the threshold now. If I were to add 20,000 right here, that's less than the threshold, so that's how that's working. The workaround for this is to make it an absolute reference. So instead of equals G2, we're going to wrap both these in $signs. Reason why, this is going to fix the reference, so it's always going to point to G2, whether it's looking at this cell, this cell, this cell, doesn't matter, it's always going to point to G2. So now everything is working exactly as we planned, so I can hit done, and now if I change it from 15,000 to 22,000, it's going to update based off of whatever value is here and highlight anything that meets the criteria after that. So that's a great way to make different things dynamic. Another thing you can do is you can click on the entire column, go to Format, Conditional Formatting, and then instead of adding a specific number, you can do a color scale. So for example, right here, we have a default color scale. The higher the number sold is, the greener it is. The lower the number sold is, the whiter it is. And you can adjust these. So right now it's default to this one. You can have it go in the opposite direction where the lower is the greener, the higher is more white. Or you can do a combination of green and yellow or whatever the case is. Or you could simply select your own color scale right there. So this is a pretty easy way to kind of look to see who's high performers, who's low performers, and you can alter it from there. So for example, right here, we have green as the low point. I don't want green as the low point, I want red as the low point. And then instead of red as the high point, I want green as the high point. So just like that, I'm able to adjust things accordingly to make sure that everything is exactly how I want it. And if it's a little hard to read, you can adjust the scale. So now everything's good. Now with conditional formatting, the order of the rules does matter. And that's because, as I mentioned, it's going to start from the top rule, and then it's going to go down to the bottom rule. And if something on the top rule is true, it's going to stop looking for everything else. So for example, let's say I want to look at the numbers sold, and I want to have it in this color scale to make it pretty easy to read. But the ones that are really, really bad, so for example, anything under 15, I want to highlight those significantly to make sure that those stand out. So if I were to duplicate this, go back to single color and change this to less than or equal to, we'll say 15. I'll make this a dark red color with white font and hit done. Now, nothing happens, and that's because this rule is below this rule. So even though this one right here should be formatted, this one right here should be formatted, they're not. So all we have to do is just to the left of the little colors, you'll see 4 little dots. Click on that, drag it up, and now since it's above it, it will be able to format those as we want. And then for anything that's false, it will move to that next rule and then so forth. So that's a great way to be able to highlight and create multiple rules. There isn't a way to have multiple trues. So in Excel, for example, you can have multiple different conditions being true, or you could opt to stop it if the first one is true. That's not the case in Google Sheets. It's always going to be true, and then it will stop going past that. So if you're trying to create something and it's not working out, double check the order, make sure everything's good. And a lot of people don't realize that dates are actually a number on the back end. So for example, let's put today. So today is October 9th, 2025. And if I were to go to 123, number, today is actually 45,939. And since it's a number on the back end, just being visualized as a date, that allows us to aggregate. So we can do math on it, we can do conditional formatting and so forth. But think of it as a number format, so you know it's greater than or equal to, before, after, between, and all of that. So you could do something like you did before where you have format, conditional formatting, click into format cells if. You could use date is before, date is after. Or you could do any one of these. So for example, if we want to say is between. So for example, let's say we want to highlight anybody that had a start date between January 1st, 2017 and December 31st, 2018. We could type 1/1/2017, and we could type in 12/31/2018. And when we do that, it will highlight everybody that falls within that range. So we can go ahead and format that. Let's say we want blue. We want the font to be white. Cool, so that's super simple. You can also do is not between. So we want to highlight everybody that's not in that range. We could hit not, and then it will highlight everybody else. And if you have it where it highlights the header, you'll just want to change it. So instead of starting in C1, we'll start in C2. And then once you make that change, it will be excluded and it will start in C2. Now with the dates, you can say date is after, for example, and you could say today, tomorrow, yesterday, exact date. So if we want to see date is after January 1st, 2017, Now, January 1st, 2017, anything that's after that will be included. And just like last time, if we want to, we can make it dynamic. So we can type equals G1, for example. Remember, just like last time, we need to anchor that in so it always looks at G1. So we're going to type $G, $1, and now we're going to hit done. And I'm going to go ahead and make this a pop-out calendar. So I'm going to click on G1, go to Data, Data Validation, Add Rule, Criteria drop-down, select Is Valid Date, reject the input if it's not, and hit done. So once I do that, we'll have a nice little pop-out calendar to make it super easy to populate. So by default, let's say that I'm going to select July 1st, 2024. Everything that's after July 1st, 2024 will be populated. And that's because we're saying date is after that date. And I could change this even further back. So if I want to go December 1st, 2018, I could select that and it will update automatically. So that's a great way to dynamically highlight based off of whatever is being selected right there. And you could also do date is before. So instead of date is after, you can say date is before, and it will go based off of that exact date. And you can also say is in the past week, in the past month, in the past year, and so forth. So if I were to select is in the past year, so it's going to exclude anything that was in this past year. Or I could say date is in the past year, it will highlight that. Or I could say date is after. And then for date is after, it's only going to include these few options. Then you can also do custom formulas. So for example, we want to say date is after, but we want to do a dynamic date. So instead we can go to exact date. Instead of having a formula pointing to a cell, we can write a formula. So I could put equals today, open parentheses, close parentheses, minus 90. So let's say we want to highlight anybody that's in their 90-day probation period. You could highlight that, change it to orange, for example, and hit done. So now whenever somebody is in that window, so let's say October 2nd, it will be highlighted. Once they're out of that window, it will no longer be highlighted. And since we're using today as the anchor, this is going to be dynamic. So right now it's looking at 7/11/2025. If I were to go into the future, so for example, let's go to settings. I'm in New York City, I'm in the Eastern time zone. So let's go all the way down to Fiji and save and reload. Now it's tomorrow over there. So you can see it automatically updated from 7/11 to 7/12. And that's because it's taking 90 days from whatever the date is today, and the date is going to change every single day. Now let's say we want to look at a range and identify and automatically highlight if any duplicates are present. Now going through the range, it's easy to overlook things and it can get kind of crazy, so it's important to do this. So using conditional formatting is a great way to make sure that you have no duplicates in your data. So let's go ahead and select all of column B, go to conditional formatting, go to format cells if, and do custom formula is. Now, one thing to note is that the range that you start with has to match the range that you're applying the range to. And this will make more sense in a second. So for example, let's say equals count if, open parentheses, we're gonna look at all of column B, so B to B, comma, B1. We'll close the parentheses, put a greater than and 1. So what this is doing is it's looking up cell B1, which is B1 right here. Then it's looking at every single row and it's saying whether or not it's found. And then it's going to count every single time that it's true. And if that number is greater than 1, then it's going to be highlighted. If it's not greater than 1, then it's not going to be highlighted. So what I was talking about before is this B1 has to match this. So we have 1 right here, we have 1 right here. If I were to put a 2 right here, you can see now it's saying that we have duplicates right here, and it's flagging 1014 and it's flagging 1015, and that's not a duplicate. In reality, 1015 and 1015, these are the duplicates, so it's offsetting them, shifting them up by 1. And the reason why it's shifting them up by 1 is because we're looking at B2 here and B1 here, so it's offsetting things. So we have one of two options. One, we could either change the row that we start with to B2, and when I do that, it will automatically flag to the right location, or I could change the formula to match whatever I have for applying the range to. So super important to look out for that, otherwise you'll get some messy information that won't make sense. But just like that, we're able to format anything that is a duplicate and hit done. Now, since we want to apply everything, going B2, then B3, B4, we don't want that to be anchored in. So if we were to anchor that in, so let's say $ and $, it's not going to work. And that's because it's only going to look at B2. So it's going to look at B2. And then for this specific formula, it can't work. And that's because we're looking at this with this date, and then we don't have the ability to compare it to anything else because it's always looking at this one. So we don't want that to happen. Cool, so everything's good there. Now if I were to change something later on, let's say 1010, that's gonna highlight, we'll say 1020. So you can see exactly how it's working. Now this is kind of easy to tell because you have everything in order, but let's say that we're sorting it by the associate instead. So it can get kind of confusing about, okay, which one is the duplicate, which one's not. So an easy way to identify which ones are duplicates to be able to change them is you can highlight it, go into the filter. So we'll click right here, go to filter, or if you're not in table form, simply go into the filter, which is right here. And then we're going to filter by color, fill color, dark red. And when I do that, it will filter by everything that's currently highlighted. So from there, you can take actions. So instead of 1010, let's say 1035. And then instead of 1020, let's say 1036. And you can keep going until you have all of the different duplicates cleared. And now that nothing's highlighted, I can simply click back into my filters, go to filter by color, and select none. So super easy to do. And now if I sort by the employee number, it will automatically populate based off of that. Obviously, employee numbers, you're not really going to have this. This could be beneficial for if you're adding a new number to make sure it's not in there. But the concept remains whether you're looking at account names, you're looking at associates, you're looking at whatever. If there's a duplicate, you need to know how to flag it. All right, now the last thing we're going to cover is how to format an entire row based off the value of one cell. So for example, let's say we want to highlight the entire row if the status is inactive. We could do so with a custom formula. So I'm going to select A through D, go to Format, Conditional Formatting. It's already up over here. I'll select Add Another Rule. And by default, it's going to give everything. But we're going to say Format Cells If. I'm going to go down here to Custom Formula Is. And now we're going to do a simple formula. So I'm going to type equals D1. And remember, D1 has to be 1 because we're matching here. If we said D2, it's going to be offset equals, inside quotes, inactive, end the quote, and that's it. So by default, it's going to automatically populate the first column, and that's because we're looking at the first column first, then moving to the second, third, and fourth. So if you want that, perfect, that's great. But in this case, we want the column to always reference column D and return everything else. So we're going to anchor in just D and not D1. If I were to anchor in D1 as well, it's going to say nothing, and that's because D1 is nothing. If this were to say inactive, then it would do everything. So it's a very stagnant, just like we did before. We don't want that to happen, though. We want the row to be able to shift, but we don't want the column to be able to shift over. So we're anchoring in column D with a $sign and leaving the row blank to make a mixed reference. And then from there, we can do whatever we want. So we can make it have no background color. We can make it have a red text, and we can have it strike through. So whenever they're inactive, it will be inactive. So now whenever an employee leaves the company, it will be inactive, and it will automatically populate with the formatting, and it will apply for the entire row. If they're active, it will clear that formatting because it no longer applies. So that's a cool way whenever you have a status or if you have checkboxes or anything like that, and it all works the same way. Perfect, so now you know how to do text conditional formatting, number conditional formatting, different tips and tricks as well as custom formulas, and you're on your way to doing whatever formatting you want to do to highlight the data that you want to highlight. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions and like and comment for more.